And today with the AX59U Asus router, which unlike the last one that we have seen, the Asus ROG Raptor GT6, this one will blend in a little bit better in some environments because it's a bit simpler and modest in some ways. There are a few things that they have in common. For example, they both are extendable routers and they have AI mesh. Actually, at this moment, it's already connected one to another, so extending our Wi-Fi coverage. And in a couple of days, we will take a look at extendable routers and the advantages of having one of these routers, and then later on being able to extend the Wi-Fi by connecting a different router in a different price range, but with the same capability. That being said, if you still haven't watched the video about the GT6, I will leave a link right over here just in case you want to check that out. And if you are watching this video on your Windows 10 or Windows 11 computer, don't forget to check out KeysFan, where you can find budget official OEM keys at an affordable price. And with the coupon code that you can see on screen and also down below in the video description, you will get an extra discount. So just in case you want to check that out, I will leave the link down below just next to the AX59U. Now, taking a look at the unboxing, we will find the router and all the necessary accessories. There is one in particular that I really enjoyed, which was the flat Ethernet cable, which is a really nice touch. In terms of the design, it's a lot simpler than the GT6, for example, and sorry if I will be comparing one to another, but it's really fresh here on my head. And the GT6 has those RGB LEDs and a little bit more gaming towards. This one is more targeted at the corporate world, so I would say that this one is the ideal router if we want to have quite a few in our corporate business. We have one of these in the offices and they will really blend in. We can put them on a desk like this, or I can put them on the wall using this mount right over here. We can put it on the vertical or horizontally. In terms of connectivity, we will find at the back one 1 gigabit port, 3 LAN gigabit ports, one USB 3.2 generation 1, one USB 2.0, power button, DC in, WPS and the reset. And we don't have right over here the RGB that we have on the GT6, but we have a status indication LED. Configuration wise, on the last video we took a look on how to configure through our computer using a browser, but I did mention that it's not necessary to use a computer, just our mobile phone is enough. So what we did with the AX59U, we did configure just using our mobile phone. We just need to open up the network that the router will emit, which is called Asus. After that, we will open the app. It will detect the router automatically, in this particular case the AX59U. We will then need to select the network name and password that we want to give. In my particular case, I use separate networks so that I can test the 2.4 gigahertz and the 5 gigahertz. But in your case, if you want to keep things simpler, just select one, and then the mobile phone or the computer will connect to the Wi-Fi that it's more suitable. Automatically, it will choose between the 2.4 or the 5 gigahertz. After selecting the name and password, I just need to select the name and password of the administrator, which is me, and a couple of minutes later, we are ready to use the router. So as you could see, with the mobile phone only and 2 to 3 minutes later, we have the router working as we want. Now, in terms of the Wi-Fi speeds and coverage, have in mind that this router is capable of 4200 megabits per second of bandwidth, but my network connection is only 500 megabits per second download and 100 on upload, so this will be my limitation. Nonetheless, I did connect one Ethernet cable to the gigabit port. I did create an open server test and I did test out the Wi-Fi coverage with my phone, and I was able to reach gigabit speed on the phone because I was limited by the 1 gigabit Ethernet cable to the server. So have in mind that sometimes we will have results of 500 of download and 100 on upload, but the router is capable of much more. And we will only notice that when we are using more than one device. So one user reaching out 500 or 600 megabits per second on download or upload, and then another user and another user. And that's where we will see the advantages of having a router with a higher bandwidth capacity. Having that in mind, let's take a look at the test, which is the most interesting part. Here in the office, without any surprises at all, area of 40 square meters, we were able to get the maximum speed of my internet operator, which is 500 on download and 100 megabits per second on upload. We moved to the gymnasium and cinema area. I was able to reach 400 megabits per second download and 100 on upload, and we are talking about the area of 100 square meters with a few walls on the way, so this will give you an idea if you are on a apartment or home that has about 100 square meters, you will have this kind of results. Then depending if you have more walls or less walls. If we go to the backyards, we will have in terms of coverage about 200 and something square meters, almost 300 square meters, and we were reaching about 260 megabits per second download and 100 on upload. So up to almost 300 square meters, we were able to get some really nice speeds with the router. So I would imagine that for offices that are on the same level, we will be able to get some really good results. Let's go a little bit further, and I went up to one floor above the office, exactly above, and we were able to get 275 megabits per second downloads and 100 on upload. If I went to the next division of the house, which is the living room, then there's where we will see a really huge drop. Next to the area of the office, one floor above, we were getting 20 something megabits download and 10 on upload, and at the end of the living room then we were getting 7 megabits per second download and 3 on upload, which is not already enough if we are streaming movies and series and so on and so forth. Now, just out of curiosity, I went another floor above, and just above the office we could still have signal, and we were reaching the 6 megabits per second download and 2 on upload, but once again it's not enough. So in conclusion, in terms of coverage, what I would say is that for one single unit it will be able to have a really large coverage on the same level, having some walls and some doors and so on and so forth. Once we start moving up, then we will start to see the limitations, not only of the antennas but also of the house, concrete, iron and so on and so forth. This is a traditional Portuguese house, so it's not easy to go further. Now, the GT6 had some better results. Check out some right over here, but this one has this limitation. So I would suggest, if you have more than one floor, if you place one of these units right over here and the second unit just above the second floor, you will get the best of both worlds. So one floor with these speeds that you can see, and the other floor will get the great signal from one to another one, and then we'll expand the signal to that particular floor. Software wise, just to take a look at what we can find on the app, we will have, just with a glimpse of an eye, all the information that we can have from our network, from the hardware that the router has, some informations that we will see and will give us the feedback that we want, and then we will have all the options if we want to create the IE mesh, some protection, all the configurations of our Wi-Fi connectivity, VPN and so on and so forth. So all the options that we will be able to find on the computer, we will also be able to find here on the mobile phone. And that is it. Hope that the video was helpful in some way, and if it was, don't forget the usual thumbs up right over there, which is really appreciated on this side of the screen. My name is Roberto, and as always, I'll see you guys on the next one.